energy that get put into the product. Other people just making one pretty much oversized surfboard. And I've seen wider boards, but what happens is they design them for surf, but not for stability. And there's too much rocker, there's too much roll in the boards. So you get on a wide board, you step on it, and it's really rocking and rolling and tippy. You know, so, and people going, why? It's wider than the other boards. So they don't understand the fullness of what's in the surfboard. That's the thing, just not educating enough.
Yeah, it's a whole new design field. They're not, like we tell people, they're not big short boards, and they're not just oversized tankers. They're stand-up boards, and it's great to learn on anything that floats. But if you pursue it to any degree, you're going to want a properly designed board, just like any kind of sporting good.
Then you get the right idea, I guess. If you try to do that and you think it's unstable, think, oh, this is not good, I don't want to try it. But if you're trying one that's already been designed for it,
well, that's why we say take advantage. There's a lot of demos, and we say that the best handling board when you're learning, it's not a single fin or a tri-fin or a swallowtail. It's a borrowed board. A borrowed board is the best. It's best just to try what's out there and to see if it's for you.
Do you have that on your website, the demo day?
Yes, we do. We list them every month, and sometimes we have more than one a month. So. And it's c4waterman.com, and it's on the back of the little brochure that they handed everybody.
Oh, no, just the address.
Is there a difference between paddles? You have canoe paddles and you have stand-up paddles. Are they all the same, or?
That's a question that you should ask.
No, I think you guys should. I want to hear from you guys. Where are you taught?
I hope you guys understand. The guy who's asking the question is Todd Bradley. Yeah, and Todd for years has paddled the Molokai Channel across, and the success of our paddles is really because of him.
His input.
Yeah, and you paddle across the channel. What a lot of people don't understand, what's that paddle doing? Is a paddle is not just a paddle in paddling. I mean, it's the function of the paddle. In a lot of ways, it's really, you see the bend the way it is. Most people, they go, oh, I got to paddle this way because, I want to scoop as much water as possible. But that's actually the wrong thing to do. Especially if you're standing so high, it'll just pull your center of gravity over and you're going to fall. What it does when you have that angle that's going this way, it creates lift, so the surfboard lifts out of the water, and then when you get right about here, it projects you forward. So you have lift, projection, so then you develop your speed and stuff too. Another thing is what you see, this V here is a dihedral, they call it. Basically, it's a steering rudder. It guides the flow of the water evenly to one side. Some other paddles are just flat. What happens with a flat paddle, when you paddle, the energy goes like this. So all that energy that you just put in, it's not functional. It's not being utilized to the best. You want more gas for your miles and stuff. You don't want to burn out that fast. You want to get more projection. So anyway, that's my interpretation of what Todd really can explain.
Dave.
Well, yeah, I think that what Brian's saying is that for a certain period they were just longer canoe paddles, or even oars. We've seen that, and when everybody was learning, that was fine. But these, because we've had a 5 or 6 year head start, and because we've had Todd and Brian with probably 80 years of canoe paddling combined, this is the only sport-specific paddle. All the thing with the dihedral, the angle that the blade comes off the shaft, and that V spline there, and the shaft, and the heights, and all that stuff is, comes from us paddling tens of thousands of miles in these things over the last 5 or 6 years. And so it really is a sport-specific paddle, and a lot of the other ones, I think, to answer your question, are just long canoe paddles, and they'll work for you. But if you're going to paddle any amount of time or distance or get into it past an intermediate level, you probably will be starting to see repetitive stress injuries, shoulders and elbows. Doing with the wrong technique and a poorly designed paddle, it'd be like using a tennis racket made out of lead or something. I'd imagine. It's going to catch up to you sooner or later.
You don't want it too wide. You have too wide of a paddle, you blow up your shoulders. I mean, we designed this so the water flow, your energy, your muscles, everything's all in sync, so you don't destroy your muscles and stuff like that too. Also, too, the way you cut this, this is an uncut paddle. So basically, it's your height, standing up straight, and probably about a shocker sign above your head is usually, the way that you measure cutting it and stuff too. But if you're surfing, some people like it shorter. If you're long distance paddling, some people like it longer. You know, the rule of thumb is really when you cut it, you flip it upside down, you bend your knees a little bit, and then that much of the blade is in the water, usually. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. Okay, just so you understand. If you buy right now, you buy a board, you get a free paddle. That's the way it is right now.
Yeah.
To the end of the year.
Yeah. Which is what, a couple more years?
What about paddle materials? I've been renting them, and some of them, they say, oh, you need a carbon paddle.
Good question.
What's the difference?
Yeah, real good question. Because I actually like the carbon, but I also like the fiberglass. You know, because of the flex also too. Carbon's the most stiff. Todd should be answering.
Yeah, well, our take on it is this is a carbon paddle here. That is, it has a whole different flex energy, and also it's more expensive. It tends to shatter more if you hit it. So we tend to use it more for open ocean racing and distance paddling. The surfing ones we use fiberglass because a lot of times when you're going to catch a wave, you just ram the thing through the gears, right? You just take a heavy stroke, and the fiberglass can really take that. Carbon has a different flex pattern, and of course you're spending $350 for a paddle when you might not need that, whereas the fiberglass one is the same shape, almost the same weight, and it's a lot more durable in surf applications and banging on rocks. And you consider also whether you're going from beginning to intermediate or from there. That all determines what you want to get to.
I look at it, the difference between tools and toys. You know, for us guys, it's tools of all trade kind of thing. We got different things, you know, for different environments, different waves, different speed, you know, different boards and things like that too. So it's just your preference. Any other questions?
Calendar updated. You don't have any more demo days before the end of the year?
No, not at this point.
Yeah.
We actually had one this morning.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
demo day.
Yeah.
A few hours
Water's
ago,
down.
just across the street.
Actually, for you guys here, I'm doing one private one tomorrow, but I'm going to invite you guys here if you guys like. I mean, it's all on the west side of Waterman Bay. I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow with some of our boards, and it's some corporate people that wanted to try to board out. But if you guys, you know, like show up.
You say Brian sent us?
No, I won't be there. Yeah. It's basically me and
Yeah.
and
now him.
Yeah. You know, it's funny right now with the water being the way it is. It's really the only thing you can do other than paddle with one man. It's the only safe way to go out in the water, and you know, we just don't fall. Stay out of the water.
From what time to what time?
I'm gonna be there like from 10 o'clock to probably about 2. So
Historical use of swimming or surfing, for us, we did it to kind of get away from the whole surfing subset. It was a way for us to go out and tap waves or places that weren't being used. Like for us, the open ocean racing is like surfing in the middle of the ocean. Our surfboards are all about going and using waves that no one else wants or can't access. So around here, this across the street's great. You know, if you stay out of watch the swimmers and Hawaii Kai's okay. It's a little windy. Pokai Bay's great. Kaneohe.
well, Hawaii Kai inside the marina.
Yeah, but still, it's awful windy.
Yeah, it does. But you know, areas that's flat water, you know, look for that and also.
Yeah,
too.
flat water are safe.
Me and Dave and Todd being also promoting is, you know, respect, right? You know, respect people around you, people swimming and stuff like that. You know, impact to the community. You know, we're not just out there bombing people and stuff and dropping in on people. So we're trying to tell people just, you know, educate yourself, respect the environment, respect other people's, you know, playground or workplace and things like that. And just kind of like rule of thumb, you know, if you fall, you know, that body length plus the board length, you want to be that far away from somebody. You know.
Yeah, which brings us to the videos here. We have 2 volumes of this video, and a lot of what Brian's talking about is all exhibited in there. We have a beginning and a more advanced one. It talks about the rules of the road, technique, board design, you know, pretty much everything. He has a great bit in there that shows you how to wipe out, how to fall, and use the paddle. We're all pretty good at that, but Brian's figured out. Brian, by the way, is a bit humble, but he pretty much was the Sir Edmund Hillary of this whole thing. He figured out all the techniques, all the stuff you see out there, people doing, how they turn their board, how they surf them, how they lean on the paddle, how they fall. Brian pretty much developed that all on his own.
Basically, my other job is also I work in Hollywood as a stuntman, and I also teach risk management to a lot of the military and the government people also too. So really break down everything in hazards and risks and what happens from, every action to a reaction and creating cause and effect, but, all the technical stuff. But a lot of things, especially we surf big waves, people don't understand surfing's the easy part, surviving's hard. And that's kind of what I train people to do is